Hi, thank you for joining me. This is Quisha Brown. I'm going to give a 5-minute overview of how to calculate social return on investment using the progressive outcome scale logic model approach. The progressive outcome scale logic model approach is a very comprehensive framework that helps to measure social impact initiative, especially on marginalized communities. I'm not going to cover the entire framework. However, if you'd like more information, you can visit POSLM.com. This is an example of a progressive outcome scale logic model. Now, it's important for me to say that the logic model is very versatile, so it can be applied to just about any industry. It can be used to measure the progress on how well people are becoming better off based on your organization's services to them. It could also measure policy and systems change that organizations are trying to develop with the community's voice included in the policies and systems change that they're recommending. So what you're looking at here is a POSLM, and that's short for Progressive Outcome Scale Logic Model. In the first column, you'll see where there's space for program names and partners that you're working with listed. Those partners and program names would be directly connected to the category that's directly across from it. So I'm just going to kind of focus on the one at the top since this is a short overview. So economic stability. You would have your partners that you work with regarding economic stability listed here and any programs that you're offering, such as maybe a financial literacy program. How many people you plan to serve through that financial literacy program, not to be confused with outcomes. A big issue has been with nonprofits. A lot of times they will consider how many people they've served as their outcomes when that is not really showing the impact of their work or how well people or the community are becoming better off because of their services. So that's where this POSLM is also very helpful. When we move over to short, intermediate, and long term, these time intervals can vary. Short term could be from 6 months. So let's say participants are 6 months into a financial literacy program directly related to economic stability. They're going to begin in stage 1. Intermediate, maybe a year into the program, we hope to see 85% of participants reach stage 2 or higher. Long term, we hope to see at least 85% of participants reach stage 3 or higher. So what do those stages represent? So let's go down right underneath the progressive outcome scale logic model, and we can see the progressive outcomes scale key. And this tells us what each stage refers to. So stage 1 is when less than 70% of indicators have been accomplished. Stage 2 is 70 to 90% of indicators accomplished. Stage 3 is when nearly all of the indicators have been accomplished. So the next question you might ask is, well, what are those indicators? The indicators are very specific and targeted to the needs of the community. Very big issue with why it's so difficult to connect dollars to outcomes. And it's mostly because targeted and very specific measurable problems have not been identified. And those are very important in order to determine what indicators you're going to measure. And so these indicators include demonstrates the ability to create and follow a realistic budget, obtain living wage or higher employment appropriate for the family size, demonstrates negotiation skills to make realistic credit arrangements with creditors, demonstrates the ability to identify savings options yielding relatively higher interest rates, and then finally demonstrates knowledge on how credit scores work and takes necessary steps to improve their own credit score. These are all problems that have been identified based on our interactions with the community and based on what they've shared with us. Another aspect of using the POSLM is that it's inclusive of community voice in the design of the logic model because the indicators to be measured come directly from the community. We know exactly what to focus on in order to best help the community and begin to see impact. And it really doesn't matter what type of organization or what type of industry or work that you're doing. What really matters is that you have a listing of identified things that you want to accomplish, very specific things, and you phrase them in a way that can be used as indicators. Let's look at another quick example. We'll use the progressive outcome scale logic model that was recently created for the Kellogg Foundation. The Kellogg Foundation has three main focus areas: employment equity, early childhood, and food, health, and well-being. Therefore, there were three separate progressive outcome scale logic models created for the Kellogg Foundation. The first is employment equity, and as you can see here, they have very specific key focus areas. So the Kellogg Foundation's main focus is to fund organizations who are actually doing the work as it relates to improving employment equity. And so these are things that have been identified from the community as being important to creating employment equity. And so all of the indicators for employment equity are listed here under recommended performance indicators. When we scroll down, we'll see early childhood, key focus areas for early childhood, and we'll see several different indicators under there. And then for the last one, food, health, and well-being, we'll see the same setup. So as you can see, the progressive outcome scale logic model is very versatile and can be used for just about any industry. And it can also be used to create systems change indicators. I'd like to show you now how you can successfully connect your dollars to your outcomes. Now, this is the calculation grid. And so let's go back to our example regarding economic stability. So economic stability, let's say we were funded $10,000 to do a financial literacy program and to offer that in the community. The estimated number of people that we intend to serve is about 50. That equates to about $200 of our program funding per person. Now we move over to the stages. And you can see, once an individual reaches stage 1, that's only $66 of that $200 spent. So we definitely don't want to get to the end of the program and just have everyone still at stage 1. Our goal is to have everyone attain stage 3. Once everyone attains stage 3, then we have successfully fulfilled our intended obligation of reaching that $200 per person. However, if they only reach stage 2, then we have a significant amount of money left per person. And that's something that we really want to look at and consider if we have particular indicators that are related to policy and systems change. We also want those to be at a stage 3. So that's the goal. That's just a short synopsis, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself, Quisha Brown. And thank you for watching.